Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, hello. Today I'm going to be doing a tutorial and I'm going to be making some resin jewelry. So if you haven't watched my previous beginner's guide, I definitely do recommend watching that one as well. I will make sure I put a link up for it. So today I'm going to be doing a more advanced style. So I'm going to be using two different types of resin, the Easycast resin and the Bee Queen resin. And I'm going to be using those together to create a really cool bangle. Okay, so I have got my Bee Queen resin, so I've got part A and part B, and I've already pre-measured those out. And then I've got my Easycast resin. So I've got part A and part B, and I've already measured those out. This is a 1-to-1 ratio resin, so as long as you've got an even measurement of both, you know you're going to have no issues. So what I'm going to do first up is I'm going to be doing my bangle, and I'm going to be doing it in two different layers. So I'm going to be pouring my Easycast resin first, which is a white based resin. Now this is a polyurethane, so just make sure that you have gloves on and you wear a respirator and you do it in a well ventilated area, because it does have a slight odor to it. It's not too bad, but it just does have a little odor to it. So the first part is going to be with my white based resin. So what I'm going to do is pour both parts in. As soon as I pour my parts in, that's when my resin activates. So I need to move it and be quick. And it doesn't matter whether A goes in first or B goes in first, as long as you put equal parts in of both. And then I'm going to give that a mix. I always mix away from my face because I don't want it to splash up. This takes about 30 seconds before it starts to heat up and sets and thermal reacts. So it doesn't take much with mixing. I'm going to add my colours in. So I've got turquoise, and this is from Barnes. So I'm also going to mix in this Aztec gold. Now I'm not going to mix that in together, just going to do 1-2 swirls like that, and then pour it. And I always like to pour on 2 points just so I don't get a pour mark. And the reason why I didn't blend those colours in is because I want it to have that really pretty swirl through it. So now I'm just going to let that set before I do my second layer. So you can see at the moment it's currently doing its thermal reaction. So it's really hot actually when you touch it. You can see that the resin's now no longer clear and it's going to white like the Easycast does, because it's the white based resin, and it's getting nice and hot and it's doing its thing. So I know I've done the correct steps and it's setting. But it's pretty cool to watch how it changes colour from the clear resin and starts to get harder and hotter and slowly gets that white coming through. Okay, so now my first layer has set. It's started to cool down. It's pretty much cold, so that means it's good to add my second layer to it. And I feel like it's going to be so pretty when I pull it out, because if the inside of the cup is any indication, that's what it's going to look like. I absolutely love the swirls in the white. So now it's time to add the second layer. So I've got my Bee Queen ready, which is my clear setting resin, and I'm going to do something a little bit different this time. I've got this Artisue Sparkle pigment powder, and it's great because whatever you add it into, it just gives it a really beautiful sparkle. And because they're translucent sparkles, it's just going to adapt to whatever colour and just make that look more sparkly. So a little goes a really long way with this. And I'm just going to put that in my mixing cup. And for my top layer, I'm just going to be using my turquoise colour, and I'm going to add a few drops in. So I'm just using the turquoise from Barnes, which is great. I really love these because it's good for polyurethane, epoxy, and polyester resin, so it's really good all-rounder, and it doesn't ever have any adverse reactions with resin. So I've got my colours ready to go. You can always do this after you've added your resin in. I just did it first because I found it easier. I'm going to add my first part, and then I'm going to add my second part. And then I'm just going to mix that up again. And as I said before, because this is super fluidy, this resin, it's got the consistency of water. It mixes together super fast, so it doesn't create a lot. You don't have to mix it up for a long time before it combines. And just look at that beautiful colour. And once I'm happy with it being mixed, I'm just going to add it on top. Oop. And I want to get it right up to the top, as close as possible. I want to kind of get it to dome, just like that. That's the perfect amount. And the reason why you want it to dome, if you can, is because your resin, once it does set, it's going to contract a little bit, it's going to shrink. And if you do it a bit too under, it's going to shrink down and you're going to get a big sort of a U shape in the top of your resin, and then you're going to have to sand it back more. But if you can get it to dome, then all you're going to have to do is just slightly sand off any sharp edges. Now don't worry about this part where I've over poured, because once my resin starts to set, I can always just pick that off at that perfect moment where it's set, so I can pick it off, but it's not hardened too much where I won't be able to get it off. But I feel like this is going to be a super pretty bangle, and it's a great way to, you know, test your skills out when working with this resin. And I love, like, you know, the swell plus the sparkle. I feel like it's very unique, and you're never going to be able to remake it exactly the same. Which is what I love about working with resin. It's always going to be 100% custom and unique. So I'm going to let this set. Your Bee Queen does take longer to set than your Easycast, so this is going to take probably another extra 10 minutes over my Easycast. So I'm going to let that set for a bit, and then once I can feel that it's fully cooled down, it'll be ready to time to demold and take it out of my my mold. So it's ready to come out of its mold because I can just pull it back with ease. And that is the finished product. Now if I've got any sharp edges, all I need to do is just pull them off while it's still really flexible, and then just give any other little bits a sand. But other than that, it turned out pretty amazing. I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. I've got the really beautiful blending of the swirls, and then I've got a really nice sparkle top to my bangle, and it's just a really pretty custom resin jewelry piece. I hope everyone enjoyed this tutorial on how to do a double layer resin bangle. If you like this, please give this video a big thumbs up, as it really does help me out. And if you're new to my channel, please do subscribe, as I do all things resin, art, and any DIY and craft projects. Thank you guys for watching.